I don't know if it's very apparent, but the smoke is back, it seems. It's really smoggy and smoky out there. Apparently, from what I read, it's a result of more forest fires. I guess we just can't take the extreme heat here since we have all the trees and everything like that. I don't remember ever when it's been this bad, honestly. But hopefully, yeah, it clears up. It's probably not a good idea to walk outside for too long. But for tomorrow, yeah, I have my Transport Canada confirmation, like from a while before. I'm guessing it's still good. I didn't get any update, like an alert or anything saying, like, reminder, go there tomorrow. But it should happen tomorrow, and so far it looks like I could attend, unless for some freak reason something happens like in the last minute. But yeah, I should be able to go and document it. This will be your guys' last chance too. If you have some kind of a question, idea, or anything like that, leave it in the comments below, and I'll basically read it and see like if I could ask in any way. Alright, still no word from DJI, so still waiting patiently to see what happens. There was something really weird actually about that video if you read like the things like the comments and stuff. I'll let you guys determine it if you guys are good at forensics, but I kind of noticed it immediately. It'd be funny if anyone else noticed it actually. You can see the smoke and the sun. One of the things with the proposed regulations for the drones here, the debate's always like, well, who exactly do these regulations help? And are they written in a way where they will essentially scare people from doing the hobby and stop the growth of the industry? So it's kind of interesting reading like a bunch of different articles that talk about that. Even in some different countries, even in China, where they're the biggest drone manufacturers at the moment, where a new regulation is apparently stopping a lot of people from flying the drones, I suppose. So the first interesting thing I read was from China apparently. Apparently they were having a lot of issues with people, I guess, flying drones near aircrafts, and as a result the government decided all drone flyers need to, in a sense, put their names, register the drones and all that, and I guess in many ways it requires you to go to like a flight school, I'm assuming. It's based on like these articles anyways, like it says, China's tighter drone rules send new pilots flocking to a school. So again, with that conversation of who exactly benefits the most from these types of drone laws, like maybe even the ones here coming in potentially here in Canada, essentially in this one it says it's the schools that benefits, because everyone's going to have to get some kind of, I guess, formal education. You need something on paper to say you've been flying this long, you know, like the basic rules and all that. But it's interesting because it actually talks about how this may actually discourage the industry from growing, or people from flying in general, because it gets too expensive. And it says here, others have balked at the idea of spending around $1,534 for an official qualification, particularly as uncertainty surrounds future regulations. I know for me, if that was a stipulation, like, hey, even though you buy this drone, you still need to spend like $1,200 worth of formal quote education to fly this small tiny drone or whatever, I probably wouldn't fly it at all. Like in terms of those larger ones, like even the Mavic Pro, I'd probably stick to something under 250 grams, even though it'd be restricted to like 1080p video or something like that. But one of the key things there too, I think the key word there is uncertainty. Like in creating all those rules, like why would you want to go through all this formal education and all that, pay all that money, where these might not be like the final rules or laws in the end? It's kind of like a waste of money. So it's like, do you really want to do that? I actually agree with that sentiment. And according to these articles, it is eating away in the sales, even of big companies like DJI, because a lot of people are just sitting there and waiting to see what happens, which makes sense. Speaking for myself, for me to have to spend that much money to fly something like a drone with formal education and all that, for something simple, there would have to be a commercial reason for that, in my opinion, to spend that much money, because you have to in some way recoup your losses or investment. So that kind of relates to this other article I saw. Like, it was actually here in Canada. It says drones edging out helicopter film pilots, which made me kind of think of the topic again, like who benefits from it, and is one of the motivations possibly for all these laws is these tiny drones or whatever, it's costing people like jobs, like the traditional jobs in terms of flying helicopters with cameras and all that. And it makes me think of old mindset where a lot of the laws, in my opinion, or the proposed ones, is more like with big helicopters in mind, as opposed to what people fly nowadays with actual like tiny drones or whatever. This guy had an interesting story apparently. Like, I guess this is apparently one of the most recognized helicopter pilots that does like film work. And it said here before, I guess like way back, it says Transport Canada thought he couldn't do it, but he was eager to fly a helicopter through downtown Vancouver, squeezing between all the soaring glass lowered on Georgia Street. After all, the film needed it. So there, like, Transport Canada's like, what? You want to fly a helicopter? I guess like between these buildings and so forth? I'm not so sure about it, but he was able to do it. So that made me think in terms of like, again, with the regulations, when Transport Canada is thinking of things like drones and all that, is that their mentality? Like, hey, I want to film in downtown Vancouver, here's my plan. Is their mindset still like, you're flying like a huge helicopter? I'd be like, no, it's this like drone. I don't think they've quite, I guess, evolved that mindset yet. So I guess apparently because of drones, nobody needs his services. So whenever you ask things like film companies, like if they need aerial shots, like, yeah, but we have like a drone to do that, or a drone company. And I guess that's just because of the cost. So that's kind of interesting, like reading what the cost comparison is. It says here, for the helicopter, it says, he said twin turbine helicopter is needed for film style shoots. $2,350 per hour. Plus a full day on the camera for prep, install, shoot adds another $5,750. Okay, now compare that to drones. It says here like a drone with 3 operators, like a pilot, a camera operator, and a safety person, charging $1,600 for 8 hours. The rental price for one mid-sized drone is $1,800 a day. And he said production usually provides their own camera and lenses, but others rent from him, which costs $1,500 to $2,500 a day. I mean, that's a huge difference in terms of expense. I mean, it's no wonder, you know, why people are trying to use like a drone more. You just save so much more money. But would you say that is one of the main reasons for, like, say, the dispute just about drones in general? Is because some people feel it's taking away jobs that they're used to doing, like, for years? Like, in my opinion, anyways, it's time to innovate. I mean, if that's the way the industry is, then time to learn like a new skill. That's the same thing for everything, I would assume. What this kind of made me wonder too is, since that session is tomorrow here in Vancouver, I'm actually curious if I'm going to bump into people that are strictly for themselves. Like, I am this, like, say, I don't know, a commercial operator of a traditional aircraft, so just because of that, they're used to doing things their way. That's why everyone should, I don't know, do things exactly as how they did it. It makes me wonder if I'm going to meet people like that. Like, they won't even listen, saying, well, it's completely different, like flying a drone in many ways. Like, there should be a different types of standards and safety precautions. At the same time, I'm going to meet people from certain flying clubs, for example, who already have their established presence, so they don't really like care as long as they're not affected, kind of thing. It'll be interesting to see how it actually turns out. Looking forward to it. And again, if you have any ideas of questions or comments that I should kind of bring up if I can, then leave the comment below. Last day to do it. All right, see you guys later.